Hi,
Hello.
Becky. Hi, Becky. If you want to make me the host, then you are free to go about your evening.
We'll connect. Have a good meeting.
Thank you.
That's what it was.
You're not muted.
All righty, bye.
Hey, Garrett.
How are you, Wim?
Good. You?
Doing well.
You have a much better picture than I do.
Hi, Wim. You got on.
Hi.
Hi. We've been having trouble. Did you launch the meeting? Who opened this
No.
meeting?
Garrett and Becky.
Oh, okay. Are they with us?
Yeah, Becky launched. I wasn't able to launch it, so she's converted me to host. So you'll have to
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm glad to have you back.
And Becky's with us. We have a number of guests, it looks like.
Oh, I better have a look. Hi, Becky.
Are you leaving? Hi, Garrett, I just recommend you make somebody the co-host.
Yeah,
Because it was a bit unstable tonight.
yeah, I'll do that and then hit record here in just a moment.
Okay, take care, bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Becky.
Thank you, Becky.
Who wants to be co-host here?
That's fine.
Was that you, Wim, volunteering?
What? That was me.
Let's see.
That would be excellent.
How do I do that again?
It's actually not allowing me to do that. Why? Is Becky still on?
No, she went
No.
off. Is she still the host? Did she not?
No.
I thought she.
I'm host. Interesting.
Oh, God.
So I think that this particular one doesn't. No, she's still here.
I'm still here because when I started to go off, it didn't look right.
Okay.
Oh, good.
So where you're still a host with me, Becky,
That doesn't make sense.
try to
See if you can make me a co-host.
No, it won't allow me to do that. I think that you still have the full hosting privilege. So can you try to make Wim a host as well?
Okay, first I'm gonna try to make you a host again because mine is saying you're not.
All right, and now I'll try to see if I can do. All right, now I have it. So Wim should be a co-host now.
Okay, something didn't work right the first time. Okay, good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and Kat, if you're ready, I'll hit record.
Hit it.
Actually, we are in record mode.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we
great.
got all of that buffoonery.
This is the second time in a row. You know, we have been asked to write a letter asking that Zoom meetings be continue to be allowed after July 15th, but I'm starting to think I don't want any more of them. This has been too stressful. We have a bunch of guests, so I was thinking maybe we would jump over some of these things that we have to talk about and deal with the guests so that we don't take up their whole evening. So
Let's
yes.
just first do the minutes.
Oh, thank you. Can we approve the minutes of the last meeting?
So moved. Yeah.
Second.
Anybody not in favor?
Actually, I guess I have to abstain. I wasn't in attendance now that I think about it.
You can give me your vote of confidence. I guess Arlene is not zooming in tonight.
Doesn't look like.
Not
Yeah,
yet that we can see, Kat.
Yeah, and she's off somewhere. So she's probably not in range. Okay, hearing no objection to the minutes, I'm going to consider them approved. So who's here? Miriam is here. Whoops, I made that go away, right? Miriam, you're there?
Hi.
Hi, what's up?
Well, I was just gonna listen in because you guys were reviewing our septic application.
Okay, well, there's not really anything to review because Charlie does that for us. And so he gives his recommendation, and he has recommended that we approve it after Concom, that is to say you yourself, have
no.
reviewed it and agreed to it.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about it,
And then there was also, I saw you had the item on about communication with the Concom, so I
yeah,
thought I'd be here for that. So-
okay, well, then I guess we'll kind
Also-
of get
and
back.
Also, there was the issue about the shower that I thought I would be here for.
Oh, okay. Well, we might as well talk about all this stuff then. So first of all, Board of Health, will you give me your approval, your authorization to issue a disposal works construction permit for a repair at Miriam's house, 74 Pratt Corner Road, once we've gotten Concom approval for that?
So moved.
Any objections?
No.
Okay. I don't know when that is meant to happen, Miriam, but just in case it happens before a meeting, I can then go ahead and issue the
We're not
permit when
having
it's
the,
appropriate.
We're not having the hearing for the permit until 2 weeks from now, so there's no.
A week from now. Okay.
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now. So the 29th.
20, no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. 1 week, the 23rd.
Okay.
22nd.
21st. Do I hear 21st?
Your meeting on the 23rd. I know 2 weeks from today is the 22nd, but the Concom's meeting on the 23rd.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. So after that, if Concom will communicate with us, then I can go ahead and issue the permit. So Miriam, you and I were going to get together and look at the Cohenville list of parcels and the map that went with that. That hasn't happened yet. Is there anything that you want to say to the board about our communication issues between these two boards and what you're hoping to achieve?
Well, I just want to make sure that, and I think that, we're doing that we're, if we see a situation that we're flagging as a concern, that we're letting you know, if it comes to our attention that someone's considering a septic system in a location where we think there are wetlands. We just want to, I would think it makes sense for me to email you and let you know that we've had that communication with the landowner, because sometimes, we will go out for a site visit and they'll just sort of tell us, oh, and we're going to put the septic system over there. And we can see that maybe that would be a concern in terms of where the wetlands are. And then, I think, there's just this question about, if wondering about, you and I were talking about whether we should get a heads up about applications so that we can look through our files and see if we think there's a concern, and then we would let you know and, have some conversation about it. Because sometimes we know about wetlands that are not on the DEP maps.
Okay, well, we can easily do that. I mean, I can just copy you on any correspondence or whatever we get when we get an application or whatever, and we'll just see how that goes. But I think it would be good if you and I would get together and look at those maps.
That'd be great.
Maybe.
And the tricky part is that not only is there the DEP regulations, but we have our own local wetlands bylaw that protects some resource areas that are not protected under DEP regulations. So,
Do you have maps of that stuff?
well, we don't town-wide because those are usually small isolated wetlands that don't
Uh-huh.
meet the size requirements for DEP regulations, but
Uh-huh.
they're over 1,000 square feet, then they meet our regulations. So often when we're doing building permit site visits, we'll see isolated wetlands and sort of flag them in our records. So that's
Mhm.
where, you know, it might be, we might know of something that wouldn't be on the other DEP maps.
Okay, but there's really no way to access it except to ask you, and you would check
Not
your
at this
records or
point,
whatever.
though. You know, maybe that's something for us to be thinking about, because, you know, we keep a database of all of our applications and all the sites we review, and maybe what we should be doing is also keeping a running list of what we find on those projects. I think that's actually like, it was just another column in an Excel spreadsheet, but it'd be a really good thing to do for
Yeah,
future people wanting to know. You know, and I think that one of the things that came up recently that was a concern for me was that there was an RDA. There was an RDA that we approved. And this was before I was on the commission. But looking back over it, I could see that the site visit had been done in the winter. And
mhm.
it
That was
turned out-
31 Lakeview, yeah.
And it turned out that the septic system was approved and it is 10 feet from a large wetland.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, did someone say something?
That was me squeaking.
Oh, so, you know,
Squeaking with dismay.
yeah. So I think
Yeah.
that one of the questions I have for the commission is whether we want to set a policy of not doing site visits in the winter when there's snow cover because of this issue, because a lot of commissions will not, if there's snow cover, they maintain the, you know, the right to wait till spring. Of course, if it's an emergency situation, that's a different matter, of course, but when it's not an emergency situation, that it is really challenging to evaluate properties if there's a lot of snow.
Oh, for sure, for sure. That could be pretty awkward. I mean, an awful lot. You know, there's not much new construction going on now. There's a little bit more than there has been, but it's not like back in the 90s when it was just mad. So most of the applications that come to us are for failed systems, and usually there's some kind of a rush on. Either they have or they're trying to head off you know, effluent runoff from the septic system, or they need to repair it in order to sell a house if it came in a Title V inspection. So that could be pretty awkward for us. Now,
Yes.
if you had information on those particular parcels that would be useful for the design phase, that would be really
Yeah.
helpful. But if you didn't, it could be sticky. I'm not sure how we
Well,
can deal with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, if we couldn't do a site visit, if we didn't feel like we could do a site visit, then we wouldn't weigh in. We would,
Mhm.
I would think we can only weigh in when we feel like we can weigh in. Otherwise it's, you know, up to you. You have the jurisdiction. So let me, I'm going to bring it up with the Conservation Commission about us trying to do, you know, do a little bit better tracking. I certainly it might be hard to go retroactively back and go through all sorts of years of permitting, but certainly the last 2 years would be really easy to go through so that we could start, you know, going forward, tracking this so that you could contact us and would have better information available quickly.
Right.
Because it's
Okay.
all organized by address.
Right.
So,
Okay.
all right, that's good.
So you use street address?
What?
You use street address to organize your files?
We're moving to that. We had originally had all of our records by landowner, but it really makes no sense to do that.
No.
Especially if you're looking for old records, because
Yeah.
So
Well,
we're
that's
trying to get over it.
another thing when it comes to the addresses. That's why we use the map and parcel number, because that basically doesn't change unless a parcel is subdivided. And especially, I mean, if it's a new parcel that hasn't been assigned an address yet, it doesn't have an address, but it always has its map and parcel number.
Right.
So think about it.
Good point.
So the the other thing that has to do with Concom is the outdoor shower on 387 Locks Pond Road. What do you know about that?
I saw it on a site visit.
Okay, tell us about it.
So it's under a deck and there's some kind of like a wooden slats on ground or gravel. Can't see what's underneath it.
Mhm.
It's pretty close to the lake. It's certainly, I think, within 20 feet of the lake. I would say maybe even closer. I have to look at the site plan to see how close the edge of the house is to the lake, but basically it's kind of a built up area under a deck.
And this is the kind of shower where you would actually take a whole shower. It's not just the thing where you like rinse off your feet with sand on them. You would be taking a shower in this, right? It's private.
It's pretty
could-
private. It's pretty
Uh-huh.
private. I don't know if it's got hot water. We didn't go looking at whether it
Mm.
was running hot water or not.
Uh-huh.
I presume it was hot water. It's
Yeah.
on the applicants are doing a renovation and the site plan has outdoor shower on the site plan.
Uh-huh.
So that was kind
Okay.
of a concern for me because we're having a hearing about it tomorrow night and, you know, it just puts us in a funny position to be approving a site plan. We probably would say that we're not approving the shower. So that they wouldn't mistake our permit for some kind of approval.
Right. So presumably that renovation is going to come to us as the building permit application, because the Board of Health signs off on all the building permit applications, except this like, change out the roof or change out the windows or whatever that is. So we would have,
You
Pardon
should
me?
have already gotten it.
hmm,
Because that's how we learned about all of this, was that we got flagged because of a building permit and we did a site visit. I don't remember when, it was maybe in the spring, early spring. And then
oh,
we determined that they had to do a notice of intent because they wanted to put in a retaining wall and some new drainage for stormwater,
uh-huh.
dry well.
Okay, well, it may be that we've seen this and even approved it, but we can just unapprove it. Let's see, here it is.
387.
Yeah, wow, way back in December, we said it was good, but we didn't know there was a shower on it.
Yeah.
That wasn't part of the description. Well, actually, what this is for is removal of existing posts supporting three-season room, temporarily support, install new fittings, tubes, and posts, pour slab. Is that the project that?
Yeah, but it's more involved than that.
Uh-huh.
What they're doing is they're rebuilding this deck that has a
Uh-huh.
three-season room on top of it.
Yeah.
And then they're putting in a new like drain and dry well for roof runoff, and they're putting in a retaining wall.
Holy cow! No, that isn't on here at all.
Yeah. Because when we
All
first
right.
looked, when we first saw the site description for the permit, we thought, oh, this is probably like a nothing burger. It's just like one of those building permits that we just sign off on. And then when we went
Yeah.
on a site visit, we thought, oh, it was more involved.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
And so the application came from the contractor, Sean McGrath.
Right. Yeah, I've got an email for him here. I'll follow up and see. But to the best of my knowledge, an outdoor shower is just not allowed anywhere in Massachusetts
That's what I
because
thought.
it's gray water discharge, and you can't discharge gray water to the surface.
Right. And we will find out tomorrow night. If you want to come, you can come to the hearing. We'll find out where that water drains to, because if they're thinking of connecting it to this dry well, well, that would be a problem for us, having it being connected to any feature that we might be permitting.
Uh-huh. Okay. So this is tomorrow night, the 16th.
Yeah, I think it's late. You have to
Okay.
check our agenda. I have a feeling it's
I'll,
like,
yeah, I'll check it, but I'll try to come to that.
well, that would be great because then you can speak to this issue. I don't have to.
Right, yeah, you shouldn't have to carry water for us.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
I just have a question. Where is 387 Locks Pond? Can you give us any other specifics? You know where it is, Kat?
Yeah.
I do. It's the one right next to the dam. Roberta Miller's family owns it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was wondering if that was it, because that's the only
Yeah.
one that's really on the water. So,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Mhm. Any other words of wisdom you want to say there, Miriam?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So who else is here? Frank McGinn, Town Building Committee. Frank McGinn, are you here? Would you like to unmute yourself and tell us what's on your mind? Maybe not.
I'm just watching the meeting. I was curious about the shower.
Oh, okay. Did you have
few other things, yeah.
anything to add?
No, this is fine. I'm not, always wanted to put one in, but now I know. Probably
Yeah, now
can't.
you know. Right. Please don't. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's jump to the bottom thing on our notes here about the Shutesbury Athletic Club complaint, because we have people here for that, and we might as well not keep them for the rest of the night. So 2 weeks ago, Tom Seifert registered a complaint saying that alcohol had been served at the Shutesbury Athletic Club on May 7th of last year at the opening music event, which was outside. So I have done some investigation. I asked some questions from the club, but I also considered the question of what requirement the Board of Health had imposed. And it seemed to me that the Board of Health did not impose a requirement of any kind. There was a requirement under state guidance at the time that institutions serving alcohol could only serve it along with a meal. But that had to do only with institutions doing the serving, which was our only interest in what went on at the Shutesbury Athletic Club, was what the club was allowed to do and not to do. Now, according to the email that Tom forwarded to the Board of Health that he had sent to the club the day after this alleged incident, the bar was closed. So the club was not serving alcohol. And so I don't see that there was any possible violation here. Because the Board of Health did not regulate, has never tried to regulate the behavior of the patrons, the individual patrons. That's not our job.
So does that mean if alcohol had been consumed, it was brought on site by participants?
That is what is being alleged. They deny it at the club, but it's, I don't feel that we need to pursue that any farther just because it's not a Board of Health matter.
And Kat, my recollection at the time was that we advised the SAC to adhere to the current reopening safety standards at that time. And that would have been consistent with the safety standards.
Right, and in fact, I watched the video. What a horrible experience that was. I watched the video of our discussion with various club personnel on April 21st. And they were asked, are you going to serve anything at this event? And the answer was no. Right, which suggests to me that it would have been all right with us if they had. And we were asking it as a question, not as a prohibition. But nothing was going to be served, and as I understand it, nothing was served. So, Board of Health members, unless you have other things to think about, I think we should declare this matter closed. There was no violation as far as I can see.
To me, it does not appear that there's an actionable item for the board.
I would agree with that, but I just perhaps have a point of clarification for down the road. Since, and I don't know, maybe one of us does know the answer to this. Since it is a private club, are members or board members, if they're doing something in there, permitted to bring alcohol on the premises if they're not serving it to the public?
Are you asking if it's permitted
Yeah.
by the club or permitted by the Board of Health? Or
I
by
guess by
state,
us,
or-
does it matter? It would seem to me if it's a private club that persons have the right to bring a private beverage in. I know the club discourages it because they garner revenue by selling drinks when they are permitted to do that to the public. So
Well, I don't think that that's our jurisdiction.
yeah, okay.
That's my feeling about it, that the club can make its own policies about that, but that they don't really fall under the Board of Health's.
So we only care, I'm just trying to understand, we only care if they are selling liquor to the public or not. And
Right.
particularly under this circumstance because of COVID and because of the requirement to ensure that there was food provided at the same time during the COVID.
Right,
Yeah, okay.
right. And of course, that was, that was moot. It's a
Yeah.
moot point. So let me ask you this. Do we need like a formal action? Do we need to vote to dismiss this complaint, or can we just say there is no violation here and move on? I don't know the formality of this.
I have another question. I've been on
Please.
the board a while and I don't recall that we have a procedure that we've used in the past in order to be consistent to dismiss a complaint or to say that we've completed a complaint. Do you recall that we've used any process for that in the past that we should be consistent with, Kat?
We rarely get any complaints,
Right.
so this is kind of new territory.
I don't recall another one.
So
Okay.
I was not at the last meeting, but based on the minutes, I believe it was said in the minutes that we consulted with the health agent. Related.
I have
to-
not been able to reach the health agent on it. However, we did consult with the health agent about
Regarding food
some of
service.
the other questions,
Okay,
but not about this particular one. All right, we can talk about that in a bit if you want. I just would like to put this one to bed. Let's make an action here. I would like to hear a motion to dismiss this complaint.
I'll move that we dismiss the complaint.
Seconded.
Okay, is everyone in favor of that?
yes.
Yes.
Me too. Okay, so unanimously, we dismiss the complaint, having found no violation. So last time I didn't get my mind organized to tell you some more about our meeting with my meeting with Charlie and at the club, because the meals served at the club, not the meals that they prepare, like the steak roast and kind of thing, which are all subject to all the regulations that they are, because they are not serving them or creating them, but hosting them. Those meals tend to be exempt from basically all regulations, and they are basically, they fall under the potluck rule, which is pretty much that it's at your own risk and that it can be prepared in private homes in an unlicensed kitchen. I've asked the club to encourage people to use the licensed kitchen if they can, but that's fairly difficult for a lot of people to manage. They put up signage, as is required, to let the patrons know that some of the food may have not been prepared in a licensed kitchen, and that they can ask for more information on that if they want to. And they also agreed to distribute ServSafe information to anybody who's doing cooking for their meals there, to try to get good food preparation practices even in unregulated kitchens. And that seems to be about as much leverage as we have there. Okay, is there anything more to be said on the Shutesbury Athletic Club? Okay, so we have some real actual Board of Health stuff to think about. Have you guys seen the new mask advisory?
Yes.
As of July 1st, they're saying that masking indoors is optional for most individuals, regardless of vaccination status. I don't really know how to square that with our infection rates, right? Last I looked, it was red in Franklin and
That's right.
orange in Hampshire. But the and you probably have seen that the rationale for this, or the impetus for this, is that we have such a great vaccination rate in Massachusetts, something like 84%. Obviously, so that becomes effective July 1st. Obviously, I'll put something out about that in our message either this week or next week to let people know that that has changed.
Kat, I'm just thinking, where does that impact us at the moment anyway? Where in town?
Well, I don't know what the deal is at school. They have their own fiefdom. The only place where it really affects us is at town hall.
Right.
Because everywhere else, people, well, and the library. I mean, at town hall and the library, people are asked to wear masks. And I think that for the most part, when people are asked, they do it. Right, it's not a requirement. It's never been a requirement, but when people are asked, they do it. And so I don't know if the select board or the library director will want to change that. But apparently the idea now is basically the kind of one-way masking that has long been prevalent in medical settings, where if a doctor is examining a person with tuberculosis, it's the doctor who wears the mask for his protection, right? So we're asking people to protect themselves if they need protection by wearing the mask.
It seems to me then, and Wim, you might want to, say something, but it seems to me that what we continue to do, Kat, is just what you suggested. Perhaps continue to let the public know what the changes are, what the requirements are, and the fact that of the levels of, virus in the community now, maybe a reminder of that. I think that's all
Right.
we can do.
Yeah, make your own decision on that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
when you come to pick up your test kits, you have to have a mask on.
Yeah.
Right, the test kits. We
So
are
I-
going to receive 720 test kits now. What on earth are we going to do with them?
Well, if I don't know that you want to move on to that quite yet.
Oh, you have more to
agree.
say about the masks?
Well,
Good.
I learned today about the change in my very high risk workplace where I was the only masked person. No one in the entire place wears a mask anymore because they've all adopted this change prematurely. So I think it's good to keep people informed about the infection rate. And then there's no way you can compel them, I don't think. So just
Well, especially not with this guidance.
yeah, so a suggestion is fine, but people will do what they want to do. So
Right. Well, obviously, we will advise people who are higher risk to continue to mask.
right. And they may follow that advice.
Right. There are a lot of people in Shutesbury who feel quite dependent on the mask and fearful without it. We noticed that around town meeting. There were a lot of people were masking up and expressing concern in advance about being around people who weren't masked.
Yeah, well, the current variant is highly contagious, but I don't think. Well, we don't have Arlene here, so we don't really know the up-to-date numbers. But my impression is it's declined a bit.
Yeah. Let me see if I can spot I mean, we don't have it up to date, but it seems to me that, no, I don't have this, that the current numbers that we sent out were comparatively low.
Yeah.
I think they were compared to the week before, Kat. That's my recollection.
Right. There was nobody in strict isolation. There were 4 people in the reduced isolation, and there had been 8 known cases in the previous 2 weeks. So it was down to about half of what it had been.
Right. Well, I think we just have to go with the tide, and when it picks up again, which it undoubtedly will, we will issue new recommendations following the state's guidelines.
Right. Yeah, really, we're just the conduit here. We don't
Totally.
we don't have any regulations of our own or any requirements of our own. We're just passing on what DPH says.
Yeah.
But we can't add our own recommendations. Okay. Is there more to say about that?
I think with the test kits, if you want to talk about that for a minute.
Okay, go on.
That perhaps set a limit on the number of kits a given household can take and open it up in the newsletter, say that they are available and when and where, and first come, first serve. So if there's 720 of them, you could serve 144 households with 5 kits. That's pretty significant. I don't know that you get that many takers.
You think?
'Cause it would be a shame to throw them away, but what do you think? Huh?
So my understanding is that these kits are going to come with a 3-month extension sticker
Correct.
that
Right.
that can provide to the recipient. So, I mean, depending on how many households do we have?
About 850, I think.
I mean, we did a test kit distribution in Metro Boston recently, and that was in mid-May. And I thought at that point in time that communities were pretty saturated with test kits, and they threw them pretty quickly.
Oh.
So there could be interest in it.
And do you know anything about these test kits? Are they like a single test or a pair of tests, or?
I think the ones that are coming from the state are eye health test kits. So it's the orange box.
Oh.
There's two kits per test, or two tests per kit. And so they're basically the tests that the Postal Service has been distributing through the federal program.
Right.
And I think the most recent distribution through that program was maybe 4 or 6 kits per household.
Yeah. I got 2 separate mailings from them when I was just expecting one.
Yeah. So given the number of households, if you started the limit at 2 to 3 kits, that's probably good.
Yeah, I would think that 2 is the same thing that the Postal Service is doing.
Yeah, if there are 2 tests per,
Yeah.
like a good number.
Right. And would we do it by household or by individual or what? So I mean, if you've got a household of 1, it's one thing, and if you've got a whole household of 5, it's another. But then we have about 1,800 people in town, so 720 wouldn't cover but half of them.
No.
I think starting in a 2 to 3 kits per household is a reasonable.
Okay.
Starting.
So why don't we start with 2 per household? And the question is how to distribute them, the modality for distribution, and how to. I guess they'll all have to go from a single place, but we'll have to be able to track it, right? If John Smith and Mary Jones are a household, John comes one day and gets 2, and Mary comes the next day and gets 2. That's not gonna be good.
And I'm just throwing out an idea. Can we use it all the sheets that we have from voter registration? I don't, maybe not everybody is registered to vote, but we would probably have a lot of names of households on the voter registration. We could just check them off, perhaps, Kat?
You know what we have when you go and get your trash bags?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's on that, or every household is on that. So
That's
if we
better
could we could get a copy of that. I'm sure we could get that from Grace. And then when they were picked up, they could be checked off.
Right. But town hall personnel is not going to volunteer to distribute this thing. So isn't that correct? We'd have to come up with a separate method.
I don't know if Grace would be willing or not. But let's think about what separate method might be.
Another method could be at that farmer's market in front of town hall.
On Saturday, yeah.
And for a limited number of hours, like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And we could rotate through there.
Yikes. What was that?
What?
There was a loud noise.
Hmm.
If you didn't hear it, it must have been you. Um, yeah. When we used to have water testing, we had people come to town hall and drop off the samples, and we just received them there. We could do something like that.
That's what I was thinking, Kat. We could do a couple of, weekend days of that, but we need to get them out pretty quickly.
But what is the timing of the delivery of the kits?
I don't know. Let me see what they said about that. It was a little bit vague.
Because we also have the election
Right. On the
Hmm.
28th.
coming up that we could.
Oh, yeah, right. If
so
we have them by then.
Yeah, if we had them by then, we could set up a schedule and Board of Health members do what we did during COVID times or
Yeah,
high COVID times. I don't know how to describe it anymore.
right. And we could even use, well, that would be the voter list, so we'd have to have our own list. It seems to me that they said they thought they were all going to be, here we go, that they were all going to be distributed by mid-July.
That's not going to make that meeting.
Well, and who knows? I mean, by that, no, this isn't it.
And the
This is-
question also of the printed expiration date that they're tacking the 3 months onto. Do we know what that date is?
No,
Because as it gets closer to expiration, if they're not gone, we might want to increase the number available.
right.
I'm thinking it's an August date for the expiration because the recent shipment I dealt with was, I think, August 6th.
Uh-huh.
And so it's probably a 3-month extension from that.
To early November.
Yeah.
So here's what it says about shipment timing. The stickers are going to be received a couple days before the tests. The tests and stickers will begin. We're supposed to begin shipping out on Monday the 13th, 2 days ago. Will arrive in separate shipments. Tests and stickers will all be received by the end of June. So they might be here by June 28th and they might not.
That meeting is the 28th, I believe, isn't it? Is that what the
The 28th is the election, yeah.
yeah, the lawn signs say?
Well, if we were to assume, 500 people show up to town meeting to do the vote, and we get that or 720, and we offer it as they're exiting from voting, we'd hand out most of them.
That'd be great. Maybe
Yeah.
we should plan for that. And then if they don't come,
Then we'll make another plan.
yeah, we'll revise the plan.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish they would
Give you-
narrow this down a little bit, and maybe they will let us know when the shipments go out. Okay. Right, and also I'll talk to Grace about whether she would be willing to hand them out or not.
At town hall or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, at town hall for, as on a drop-in basis.
Yeah.
And then if we were gonna do it on the weekend, one of us could take it, or two of us.
Yeah. And if it's that we can do it at election, yeah, I'm happy to go and hand them out.
Yeah, me too. And who has that list for the garbage bags? Is that at town hall, or does the solid waste committee have it? Or
Well, I think they use a new one every time, so probably we can get Grace to print it out for us. And I'll confer with her about how to do it. She may have some other ideas.
cool.
Just one other suggestion, I don't know, and it may be too late. Is school out already? Should we try and hit some? Oh, I guess, yeah, never mind. Maybe giving them to kids isn't such a good idea. They might not find their
Right.
way home. Yeah, never mind.
Right.
And I think the schools are swimming in kits.
Yeah, right.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I have an idea that everybody's swimming in kits and they're just trying to get rid of them now.
Yeah, right,
This is why they send us doubles this month from the post office.
right.
All right, well, I'll confer with Grace as soon as I can, and I'll update you on that. So, do we have anything more that we want to say about either of those COVID related things? Doesn't sound that way. So, there are actually two things we've been asked to do. Did you all get an email from the executive committee of WMPHA, in which we are asked to advocate for local public health in the state budget? Did you guys get this? It says something about pre-rental housing inspection workshop. So you might not have opened it, but if you open it, you know what, I'll just forward it to you all and make sure you all got it. And so we're being asked to contact our legislators about this SAFE 2.0 bill and about line item funding for local public health. So we've been asked to do that. That came just this afternoon. And we've also been asked if we would write to our legislators and ask them to extend the remote meeting possibility beyond July 15th, which is the current deadline. And I understand that they've put this extension in the budget bill. And I don't know if it is like an automatic pass if the budget passes, or if it can be line itemed out or what. Do we want to write to our legislators to support this or not? After our experience tonight and 2 weeks ago, I've about had it with Zoom myself.
As a Zoom stockholder, I have to recuse myself.
Are you serious? Are you joking?
I actually think it's a good idea, Kat, to continue it, because there may be times when, you know, it's bad weather and someone can't make it, or, you know, they're not feeling the greatest. They just have a cold. They could sit in on the meeting, but maybe they don't want to expose everybody else to their cold, you know.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's something we've learned these past couple of years, isn't it?
True.
Yeah. The other thing is, well, there's that we can have meetings that we might not otherwise be able to hold because we couldn't get a quorum, or because of weather. We've often canceled because of weather.
But maybe some are in person and some are on Zoom. So, you know,
if that's a possibility, I think that would work well. The other thing is that we get a lot more participation on Zoom than we ever got in in-person meetings. And we would go months and months and months without seeing another human being at our meetings.
True.
So I'll put those two kind of aspects of it in the letter and find out where I'm supposed to send it. Okay.
Well, does everybody else agree? I mean, I was the only one who kind
I-
of chimed in.
I definitely agree with you, Noreen. I think it's no longer an innovation. It's a standard practice now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Oh. Well, Jeff Lacy came in and then left again. I was just going to ask him what he wanted.
Wrong meeting.
Matt, probably. Okay, there doesn't seem to be anybody. All right, well, I think that we might be done. What do you think? Is there more things to talk about? Noreen, do you have any updates? Oh, you know what I want to hear? Wim, did you do the focus group today?
Oh, shit. That was,
I didn't
That was-
remind you about that one.
you know what? You should have, but I had a change in my work schedule. I just got home. I was there for 12 hours at work.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
So,
Well, we won't keep you much longer.
so no,
Okay.
my
Well,
fault. I spaced it out, but I couldn't have done it actually.
well, there you go. There you go. Well, Noreen and I are going to do it tomorrow, right, Noreen? You're on for tomorrow.
Correct. I don't know. Did you ever sign up, Garrett?
I can't this week.
Okay. All right.
What time is it tomorrow?
2 to 3:30, I think. Let me just hold on. It's right here. 2:30 to 4.
Okay.
But you do have to sign up, Wim, in order to get the invitation to join the meeting.
Right. And I got to go back into work tomorrow, but if there's any chance I can do it, maybe I could just at the last minute register and show up.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it would be good, but it's not. It's hardly, urgent. Noreen, have we already received the link to the meeting, or is that going to come tomorrow? I'm a little bit.
I think
lost on
I
this.
think I did receive the link, Kat.
Okay. And it would
But
come from.
I think I need to check. Oh boy, I
Okay.
think it came from Ardent. ARDENT, or it might have come from FERCog. I know for sure you're definitely registered because we did talk about
Yeah.
that on Monday. So you were definitely registered. And I
Right,
thought I
I'm-
was registered and I wasn't. So I quickly had to register as well.
Uh-huh. Let's see. I have a confirmation, readiness focus group number 5, and I have a
Sign
a
in link.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me put this in my Zoom meetings.
Yeah, there's mine. I have one too.
Okay, good.
But yours was for today, right?
Well, mine says number 5, but it is for, yeah, it was for today.
Uh-huh. Well, maybe you can join, or maybe you don't need to. I mean, 2 of us are going to do it. That's not too bad.
Right.
Okay. Well,
and-
you can't tell us. You can't give us any of the answers. Okay. Any other updates to be dated up?
Hmm.
Well, how about we adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
I don't even have to ask if everybody's all in favor.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, guys. I'll
Thank
be
you,
back.
Kat.
I'll be back to you about what Grace has to say.
Oh, I just want to give you some kudos. I heard you did a wonderful presentation at the Lake Viola Association on mosquitoes, Kat. So I got some good feedback. Yeah.
Oh, great. Oh, thanks for letting me know. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Do you realize I was standing there talking about mosquitoes and a mosquito had the temerity to actually approach me? I'm talking away and I go, well, there's one now. They probably thought I faked it, but it was a real mosquito.
Anyway, thank you. I know you put time and effort into that, as you always do with everything. So it was appreciated.
Well, thank you. And that's good to hear. Okay, you guys.
All right,
Thanks.
well,
Good
All
night.
right. Bye-bye.
Well,